very busy. Many important matters require a king's attention.
I'm king now. King now.
I am king. I am king. I am... Kiss it. I am... Kiss it again when I return.
Your fingers or your
King doesn't
fingers
discuss
your
battle plans.
Each one.
But
Your
girls.
fingers or your tongue.
I am the king.
I'm telling mother.
Welcome to the Joffrey podcast. My name's Bubba. You can find me on Twitter at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM. At Fit and Trim on Twitter. And with me, as always, someone who has worse breath than Drogon. It's Catfish. Catfish, how you doing?
Oh, ouch. Look, I just got rid of my grayscale. Like, cut me some slack. I'm working on things one at a time.
One at a time. Now, Catfish.
Talk to me, Bubba.
We have a special guest.
Do we?
In the studio with us today.
Oh, my God.
Like,
Wait.
we're in King's Landing, and we brought somebody up from the Reach.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the King's Road is very treacherous these days.
It is. She just popped up out of a river, despite wearing lots of armor. From Podcast Winterfell, it's Kelly. Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent. You guys are hilarious. We've been having a great time tonight, and I'm really excited to be here.
Kelly, just in case anybody doesn't listen to that great Podcast Winterfell, how can people find you on Twitter?
I'm just at Kelly Underfoot, as in Arya Underfoot, but Kelly, Kelly, and then Underfoot on Twitter. And I tweet sometimes.
Very rarely.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a bit like
Work
when
on
there's an
that.
eclipse, it's Kelly tweeting.
Yeah, pretty
But
much.
be sure to follow her, everybody. Today, we're going to be covering Season 7, Episode 5, Eastwatch.
What? 5?
Episode 5, Catfish, we are done with this in 2 weeks.
No.
2 weeks from tonight,
No.
it's over.
No, I can't. No, that's not. We're just getting into it.
We
just had what
Yeah.
what I consider to be like one of those like middling setting everything up episodes, and we only have 2 left.
Oh my goodness, 2 more middling episodes left.
No.
We got to set more up for Season 8.
That was it.
That was it. All right, well, we have to find out everybody's ranking out of 10 of this Eastwatch Episode 5. Written by, bumped up from intern Dave Hill, and directed by the guy who directed last week's episode, Matt Shackman. So, let's start with you, Catfish. Catfish, you've already kind of hinted. What are you going to give your ranking for this Episode 5 of Season 7 Eastwatch out of 10?
Okay, I'm going to give it 8. What I like to call double S's.
Double S's?
Yeah, that's what I say when I talk about stealing Samwell.
Samuel stealing again.
Everywhere he goes, he's like, oh, this is my parting gift, and that is my parting gift. You know, they set him up as a nice guy. He's kind of a schlub, but he's got sticky fingers.
I mean, the first place he went was Craster's, and we know what he stole from there.
Yeah.
Gilly!
Gilly and Little Sam.
That's
He stole Sam's real name from him. Sam's real name was Craster.
Oh, man.
He's passing on the trait.
So,
Right.
so Catfish, that's 8 out of 10. Any words that you want to go in deeper about why an 8? Because last week, I believe you were 10 out of 10.
I gave it a 10. There was so much happening.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, the reason why I didn't actually go lower is
Okay.
because I know we need... There's so many pieces in place that need to be put in place, and that's what happened during this episode. So I think in a normal season, I would have been like, oh, God. But the things that have been put into motion
Yeah.
are exciting, thrilling things, and
Okay.
moving things around. So yeah, I feel like this was just a lot of setup. I'm very excited, though. The Arya versus Littlefinger battle is heating up. Cersei, they've moved forward on, Cersei's like, all right, I got some trouble, so she's going to do a little bit of, playing politics to get back
Okay.
into position.
I like that.
And, I mean, there's so many good things going on.
All right. 8 out of 10. Let's go to our guest, Kelly. Kelly, what is your ranking for Episode 5, Eastwatch?
I have to agree. I gave this one 8, what I like to call double M's.
Double M's.
Mood-killing Mormonts.
Oh, man.
The K is silent.
It's hyphenated.
So go deeper on this mood-killing Mormont, please, Kelly.
It was just a good moment, and we really enjoyed the Dany and Jon building up every time they're alone together, or at least interacting. They're having these, getting to know each other. It's a little bit of like dueling of words, and we kind of understand that they're letting down their guard a little bit more and a little bit more, and then... Of course, as soon as it seems like they're about to have this really important conversation that's not only between them, but we also want to have him share with her about how he died. And then, of course, from apparently across the country and across the sea comes this exact moment must come, Jorah Mormont.
Sir Friendzone knew. He had this tension. The guy sailing him to Dragonstone was like, well, we could take a bit longer. Hurry. I can feel sensual tension happening with Khaleesi.
He is such a dragon blocker.
He is. Well, I hate to be. I mean, I really hate to be.
No, you never hate to be. Let's hear it.
A duplicate. Meaning, Kelly, you gave it 8 out of 10. Catfish, you gave it 8 out of 10. Now, even though I loved what I like to call the double R.
Double R?
Roasted Randall. That was fun. And I got a bit sad when I saw the double D.
Double D?
Dick on dust. That was what happened after Roasted Randall. But even though I really, really liked the Triple T.
Triple T?
Yes, well, Triple T, Catfish, as you know, when I talk about totally toasted Tarleys.
Got it.
I'm saying I'm focusing on one part of the show. But in the end, I'm only going to give this 8 double S's out of 10.
Oh, double S's?
Well, double S's, as everybody knows, is what I call story shortcuts. Everybody's been talking about the pace of Season 7 being so much faster, so much happening. Go, 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 go.
Right.
And they said, it was too fast for them. I've actually loved the first 4 episodes of this season, and there was so much in this episode I loved. But there were times where the story shortcuts made me laugh, like Gendry's like, wait, let's go. You want me to go? Whatever. I have no personality. I'm going where you tell me to go. Like, I laughed at that. That was a fun, what I would call story shortcut to get us to where we're going. But good old Sir Friendzone just popping up, and as soon as he pops up, he's like, get me on the boat north. The fact that...
Let's go. He knows.
He knows.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. As soon as he saw how Daenerys reacted to him, he's like, I'm getting on the road again. Because when I come back next time, it is on.
Do you think
he knows it's on?
All right. Well, okay. I'm going to lay this for when we discuss about good old Sir Friendzone. Do you think he thought, if I go with Jon Snow, it's so snowy up north, nobody will notice this knife wound to the back, and then I can come back to my Khaleesi. All right. So we are going to break down this episode, this action-packed episode, as best we can. But we're going to start by giving something to the people, Kelly, we like to call the double L's.
Double L's?
Well, Kelly, if you ever listen to us instead of Podcast Winterfell, you would know that we give out prizes to our loyal listeners. Mm-hmm. Listeners, this is Season 7. For every episode of Game of Thrones, we're going to be giving away a wonderful Game of Thrones prize. In fact, for 2 weeks from now, we are going to be giving away an autographed copy of George R.R. Martin's A Game of Thrones.
Not first edition. Let's make that clear.
No, I don't even think like 15th edition. This is a paperback that came out recently, but has been signed.
And is in English, clearly.
Amen. By His grace, Sir George R.R. Martin. Next week, we're going to be giving away an autographed copy of George R.R. Martin's Fever Dream that has nothing to do with A Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, but because we love our listeners, we're going to be giving away that. But tonight,
but is it complete? In other words, if they read it, they'll be done with the story?
Yeah, that will be a weird feeling for...
It's sort of a gift to our listeners.
Game of Thrones fans.
There we go.
But tonight, we're giving away what I consider the best gift of all, a poster of His Grace King Joffrey, actor Jack Gleason.
It is so beautiful,
It is beautiful. Where'd you get this poster from, Catfish?
I think I got it from Society 6. It's a website that has a lot of cool stuff on it, and someone drew an amazing picture of it. When you put it up in your room, I don't know, like it might inspire you. You might look at it and feel not worthy, but whatever it does to you, you just put it up in your house.
Let me just say, I don't want to describe how I think our listeners are going to react to it, but you're going to get this poster of His Grace King Joffrey, and you're going to want to take it into a cave, if you know what I mean. So,
Jumpin' Joffrey.
So we have a name of everybody. How do you get eligible to win these wonderful prizes? All you have to do is when we tweet out a link that says, here's the latest Joffrey of Podcast episode, you retweet that link when we put it up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/double P podcast. That's the word double, the single letter P, the word podcast, plural. Facebook.com/double P podcast. When we put up a post there on Facebook that says, here's the latest Joffrey of Podcast episode. If you share that, that's another way you can enter. If you do both, that's 2 entries. The third way, all you have to do is go to our Facebook page, which is...
It's facebook.com/double P, the word double, the letter P, and then the word podcast. It's really simple. It's not a challenge at all for our listeners. We made it so easy to find.
Oh, we did. So you just like the page. That's a third way you can enter.
Right.
Third entry. We have
Wait.
Yeah.
I last week was so lazy, I just retweeted your announcement about the podcast. Am I in here?
Catfish, I want you to guess if I saw that you had retweeted my tweet and if I put your name in the bowl.
Yes.
That is one of the answers you could give in a yes or no question. Kelly, why don't you do us the honor and pull out this week's winner of a beautiful poster.
Now, Kelly, can you confirm that there is a huge glass bowl with lots of names in it?
It's a bowl that could be worn on one's head. It's
oh my
quite
God!
large.
I see your name right now. I actually see your name.
So
okay,
Kelly, don't pull your name. Don't pull your name.
Swirl it around. If you pull your name, that would be amazing. It would be really. After all, I've gone to all this effort to convince people.
Let's see it. Let's see who it is.
Okay, she pulls it up.
Pulls it up. Let's see.
And
Who's our winner?
Is Scott Holmes at Scott with a K Skywalker.
Hey!
Congratulations, Scott
Congratulations,
Holmes.
Scott. All you have to do is go to our Facebook page, which we've said the URL for multiple times. Go there, give us a message of your mailing address. We will send this right out to you. We'll get this to you as quickly as Sir Jorah got from Old Town to Dragonstone to Eastwatch by the Sea.
People are really moving all over the place. One of these days, I'd like someone to show up at Dragonstone and Daenerys is like 50. like they were in just a time warp, and all of a sudden everything just caught up.
All right, let's get to it, and if it's okay, we're going to start on these beautiful, lovely Game of Thrones opening credits.
Of course we are.
Because two things happen that we've never seen before. The first one might not be that interesting to everybody, but if you're part of #MapTruther like I am, this is the first time we've ever flown from the Isle of Dragonstone there, where Blackwater Bay meets the Narrow Sea, all the way to Winterfell. We've always flown somewhere else, like to Harrenhal or to the Iron Islands or to wherever, but we finally flew from Dragonstone up to Winterfell.
We're not messing around anymore.
No, and then after we left the beautiful Castle Black of the Wall, we kind of rode along the top of the wall, which you would think would be the smartest way to travel. Nobody ever seems to do it. But in the opening credits, we flew along the top of the wall to a new location, Eastwatch by the Sea, here in the credits. Anybody besides me just excited to see a new location on the map. I loved it. In the silence. Kelly, did you love it? Anybody?
Sorry, I'm like facing the opposite way of the TV to look back at you guys. Okay. Yeah. No, it was really exciting. I didn't know it was coming. I haven't read anything. I never read ahead in like online or anything, so I was surprised when the wall kept going, and then there was new animation for Eastwatch, and it wasn't like super outstanding. Like I thought Old Town was cooler looking in terms of its
design,
mechanics and stuff, but it was just to have a new one this late in the series is pretty awesome. And I mean, considering that even in the show we just went there a little bit, I'm guessing we're going to be seeing it for the rest of the series.
I hope so.
I am very chagrined because it has been a long time since I made fun of you for caring about the damn opening credits. And I made fun of you hard tonight, and then we got a totally new location. So that was in Catfish's face.
Yeah, well,
Thanks a lot, Dave Hill.
It was personal.
It was.
All right, guys. The way we're going to break this down is we're just going to follow certain storylines to their conclusion. Now, because so many storylines are crossing streams, that's going to make tonight's recap and review a bit awkward. But why don't we start in what I think might be the most awkward thing of all? Jaime and Bronn are right next to a dragon. They dive into what we thought was a lake, but might be a river. And the current, despite the fact Jaime's wearing 50 pounds of armor, the current takes them far away from the battlefield.
Well, let me push back just that on a little bit.
I hated the way this started.
He is wearing mostly leather, which also is not great to wear in the water.
I haven't seen Michael Phelps wear that, no.
No. But the shark was, and that's why he lost. Okay, so...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry, hashtag spoiler. So, yes, I mean, we knew, however, this was going to end. It was not going to be great. Even though we gave last week's episode a 10, we both said that this was awkward, that, 5 feet from the shore, it seemed to be like 30 foot deep. So I knew this was gonna be bad either way. We knew that he couldn't go out like this, just like disappearing down into the depths. So, it didn't frustrate me as much as it did you. How about you, Kelly?
Kelly, break the tie. How did you feel?
I don't think it was their most graceful transition from one episode to the other.
So diplomatic. You should be somebody's hand to the king or queen, Kelly. That's great.
But I have to agree, like when you look at the shot of the opening of the episode, the water is quite still, and somehow they're a mile away from the fire and the smoke that's in the background. Like, it is a little strange and not quite well thought through, and definitely a story shortcut.
Yeah, and it was fun even in the moment. I love seeing Bronn breathing so heavy, trying to give some reality to, this is a freaking bitch. But he does somehow pull up the Kingslayer.
Who also kept his hand.
Yeah, that thing's attached pretty good. Shout out to my boy Qyburn. That thing was great.
You thought he couldn't survive without it, and that was hashtag fake news.
Fake scrolls is what I believe.
I had high hopes that there would be like an opening of this where like Jaime was having a like a vision or something. There was some purpose to him going underwater, and that it was be some sort of character moment. And so when it was just so smash cut to, we're out of the water now, we're fine, it was pretty disappointing.
Right, and yet Jaime is not very thankful. He's like, do you know you almost killed me? And Bronn's like, did you know you almost got toasted like a marshmallow?
Right.
Like, how about a little appreciation?
Yeah, I think as soon as the words left his mouth, he realized how ridiculous that was, because he saved him, but yes, in a manner that almost killed him, but he did save him. So
Jaime immediately is like, we are effed. I got to go tell my sis, my twin sis lover. And Bronn is kind of the flip side, like, we were bros, I'm deserting. I'm going to the other side. Both, I think, are true to their characters, but also still it's a bit awkward to see this moment. And Jaime, who I know so many people love as a character, love to believe that he's had this redemption arc. But when he keeps going back to his double M, mass murdering lover, I think you got a
silent L. Okay.
No, double M lover. It's a double M lover is what I am getting at here.
Okay.
It's just tough to see. You want Jaime to wise up, it seems like he's going to wise up, but it just doesn't happen.
Listen, you're a man. You understand.
Thank you for noticing.
Every time
and confirming.
Cersei gets together with a dude, he is enchanted. Okay?
Oh yeah.
She's got the magic between the sheets.
Most beautiful woman in the realm. It is what it is known.
I mean, if Cersei didn't have dragons, if Daenerys didn't have dragons, I would be calling Cersei Dragon Lady, because she is cold.
All right. So,
that makes no sense. Dragons have fire.
All right. Well, no, it totally
Good
makes
call.
sense.
Good
Totally
call.
makes
It's
sense.
a song of ice and fire, Kelly.
Okay. Oh, sure.
All right. So Jaime, we're following him. He somehow has made it back to the Red Keep. He passes Qyburn in a hallway, and Jaime goes to see his girl. He's like, hey, girl, I got some bad news. I lost my job. Yeah. When Cersei says, how many men did we lose? Shouldn't he have just said, all of them?
Yeah, but apparently they can't count that high or something. They need to get the maesters involved.
Oh, right. Well, if we just measure the size of the field and how many guys fit in them, that many.
Right.
That's how many died.
Cersei doesn't want to hear it. She says, we've got the Tyrell gold. We can buy, sell swords and mercenaries. She wants to keep fighting because she wasn't there. Jaime has seen the light, and it was dragon light. He's ready to throw it in. Is there anything he could say to convince his girl it's over?
No.
Let's head for the hills.
No. She's without being in charge. Cersei feels like she's nothing. This is her whole raison d'etre for living is to be in charge. She's got two reasons for living.
Yeah.
One is to be in charge, and the other is to maintain her page boy haircut. Because she's holding on to that for like ever.
Trend setting.
Exactly.
Do you think now in this first scene between Jaime and Cersei, where she reveals her double C, Cersei child in the belly?
Oh, thank God you said child.
It's also in there. Yes. So, were you guys happy to learn that the twincest, they had 3 chances, they struck out 3 times, but they're going to the plate for a 4th time. What do you think? You happy about this?
Yeah, this is very interesting. This is all new, and I didn't see it coming. It seems completely off tangent from the book, and makes me suspicious. But it sounds like she was actually confirming all of this before she told Jaime. So it doesn't seem like it's a ploy, which was my immediate suspicion, is that she's playing Jaime. But it seems like she was talking to Qyburn and getting confirmation and throughout the episode. And that kind of lends itself more to being true. So if it is true, it's kind of like, I want it to be a deformed baby. I want it to be a Tyrion.
Like 3 eyes.
No. I want it to be. I want her to have like a baby, like come out like dwarf, like Tyrion or something like that. If we ever get that long.
I mean, there's two choices here.
All right.
Because I know that for a long time, we've been espousing one theory about Joffrey, that he's alive and he's been behind the scenes and he's just waiting to, after everybody fights each other, he's going to mop up, leading from behind as always. But, I was reading about this earlier in the week, and a lot of people are supposing, this is spoiler alert, that this next child is going to be Joffrey reincarnated.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Season 8 is going to cover a lot of ground.
It sure is. It sure is.
The opposite of my guess. Everything that is perfect is what we will be getting. Okay.
Well, there's one or two ways you could go.
Yeah, but only the two, though.
Exactly.
Now, Jamie...
I'm with you. It's either Joffrey or a kid who's like one of his eyes is 3 times as big as the other eye.
Now
and has completely hairless.
Now, in this first scene between Jamie and Cersei, Jamie relays, hey, Tyrion didn't kill Joffrey. It was the Queen of Thorns. Cersei it feels like she's got double M.
Double M.
Mixed messages. Meaning, she's like, she didn't act like she believed it, right? But on the flip side, she was also like, and you poisoned the Queen of Thorns and let her off easy. You should have butchered her. And so, the way I took it is that I guess Cersei did believe it. Cersei did believe that the Queen of Thorns did it, especially when Jamie said, well, who would you want your daughter to marry? Who would really rule?
To me, what was funnier in that scene was Jamie essentially being the mouthpiece of the writer. Well, let me explain to you why it would have made more sense. Who would Olenna have wanted to be controlled? Now, so
I see that.
He breaks it down.
All right. And so, Jamie, as we follow him along, Bronn is bringing him down to these dungeons here, the bottom floor of the Red Keep, on the auspices that they're going to train. He's like, I saw you fighting the Dothraki. You suck. Let's train. But then, turns out, Bronn totally helping Tyrion.
Now, what's amazing here is, and again, this is almost another double S story shortcut. Is that Jamie just now found out that it's not Tyrion who killed Joffrey. If he had still thought it was Tyrion who had killed Joffrey, I think this would have had a different outcome. He would not have been able to hold himself. Okay, the father, we all know that he was kind of a dick, especially to Tyrion. But the fact that he just found this out means that both Jamie and Cersei have a little bit more lenience towards Tyrion.
Okay.
It's the difference between daddy and son. That's a big deal.
Tyrion starts off this meeting by paying a compliment. Kind of like the way, Catfish, when you came in today, I said, oh man, you look great. So he lied to him. He said,
all right.
No, he didn't lie to him. He said, when you came, you outsmarted me at Casterly Rock. That was my plan. You outsmarted me. You were 3 moves ahead. Good show, big bro. But big bro said, F no. He was not having it. How did you guys feel? Forget about the substance of it for a bit. Did this scene, have enough emotional weight for all these two have been through together? I thought it did at times, and then at other times, call me crazy, he should have slapped the imp, or something should have happened. I don't know.
I think that's a good point. I didn't feel the history between them in the scene that we felt in the last few weeks. The scenes between the Starks. What do you think, Kelly? Yeah,
it could be that there hasn't been as much transition like in their lives since then. I mean, Jamie is now living in the Red Keep openly, banging his sister, so that's slightly different than before. And maybe it's just like they haven't gone from being children to adults, and that's the difference. And they're just more of the same between them. This is just another rift that has been like they have to work through.
Right. I mean, I can see that, but also, Jamie went out on a limb to save his brother.
Oh, yeah.
And the next time he hears from him, he's not just living life peacefully somewhere. I don't know whether he knows that he's the the finger to the queen.
He
but
knows. He knows.
Do you think Jaime knows that Tyrion is the pinky to the
He
queen?
and Cersei, and he discussed it, I believe, in the very first
Okay,
episode.
so-
That he doesn't know maybe that Tyrion was there and saw the slaughter that happened to all his troops.
Right. So even worse than I saved you and you went and killed Dad, I saved you and now you're helping our enemy. So it feels like he would have a little bit more hostility there. And maybe that's, you just can't bring it up because it's kind of a bridge too far, right? I mean, okay, I cut you some slack.
Tyrion is pushing what we all believe is the truth. Daenerys is going to win this war. Enough is enough. In some ways, this is the same question that Jon should have. Look, you can't win. Why don't you just bend the knee? I almost understand it more from Jaime and Cersei's side, meaning Cersei's crazy. She's never going to bend the knee, so why even ask?
Right.
But
Wait, you understand it more from Cersei than from Jon?
Well,
I see it
I
equally for
understand that.
different reasons.
I understand that Cersei's thought process might be, I lost my 3 kids, the 3 reasons I have for living. Now, admittedly, she says she's pregnant now. On the flip side, you would say Maggie the Frog prophecy, which we saw at the beginning of season 5, implied that she's only going to have 3 kids. It
Right.
didn't say you'll have 3. Gold will be their crowns. Gold will be their shrouds. But the next one will be perfect. So,
Well, it's because...
It's the same one again.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Because she's having Joffrey and then Joffrey again.
Confirmed.
It's like marrying a woman, divorcing her, and remarrying her.
Still your first wife.
Exactly. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good call. All right, so let's get to this final scene, the final time we spend with Jaime and Cersei. Jaime once again is pitching his thought process of, hey, let's bend the knee, but now he has the information that Tyrion has.
Right, which is weird. Then he finds out that Cersei let it happen, even though she wasn't in the meeting. So even before they had the meeting, she let them meet.
Right, and if I'm Bronn, man, you don't want to get on Cersei's bad side. You'll be down there with the sand snakes, baby.
I mean, she did call out Bronn specifically and say he betrayed you.
Yeah.
But then she said, don't betray me again. Well, I mean, when did he have a chance? He didn't know that was happening. He came right up to see her, unless you think that she called down to him, that, like, she sent Qyburn to get him, right? Like, well, how does she think that he betrayed her?
He entertained
Because he didn't
the
kill
meeting.
Tyrion?
Yeah, he entertained the meeting as soon as he knew it was not the true intention that he was going
Okay.
down there for,
All
I
right,
guess.
all right.
Yeah, as soon
Okay,
as
that
he
makes
saw
sense to me.
Tyrion, he could have gone straight to her, I guess.
Or kidnapped him, and they would have had a key hostage against
Well, that's a good
their
point.
enemy that they're losing to very badly.
He would have been like, I let you go. Now to prove my love, Cersei, I took him back. Now, admittedly, I'll let him go again. It's just my thing. It's just what I like doing.
Maybe she thinks that Tyrion's not a very good pinky to the queen because basically all his plans were laid to rest except for Jaime pulled out her heavy artillery. Daenerys pulled out her heavy artillery. It's like, okay, bad plan, dragons.
Yeah, as long as Tyrion's giving the plans, they can anticipate them and counter them. They know how he thinks. They don't necessarily know how this Queen of Dragons thinks, so they can't anticipate her plans as easily. Or even if they can't really do anything about it because dragons.
Dragons. This is what I've always said. Dragons.
So,
Now, Catfish, our time with Jaime, Cersei, our time in King's Landing ends on that line you just mentioned a second ago. Cersei is telling him, don't betray me again. Be my bitch. Tell me what to do. Is that foreshadowing? And does Jaime... We heard the Queen of Thorns also foreshadowing, saying, Cersei will be your lead to your downfall. Is this foreshadowing that Cersei is going to be the reason Jaime never comes back up the next time he's in a river? Thoughts? What do you think?
Well, I think it's funny because coming into the season, I thought that Jaime would see Cersei's insanity and push back on it first, but now it seems like he's bought more into it, and the problem we're having all of a sudden that got kind of forecast last week was now all of a sudden Daenerys has forgot the thing that she wasted 5 years of her life learning.
Now that's cold.
I'm sorry. It's not the show's fault.
All right, so because that was so cold, I say let's go up to Winterfell.
Oh, a perfect transition.
You like
wait,
that?
before we go, I wanted to say,
sorry,
did you guys think that was really disappointing that was all we got with the Bronn Tyrion reunion?
Oh, that's a good point. I think that's a wonderful point. They spent the first 4 seasons buddy-buddy. They were the team. They were the team.
It was a
Anytime you went,
bromance.
right.
It was so good.
The bromance didn't get any sort of reprieval.
I mean, when you agree to fight for Tyrion, yeah, that's a bond. Because you take that on faith. All right.
So, we didn't get it. I think that's
That is a great point.
That's an excellent lost point, Kelly. And it might be because, once again, we only have 7 episodes this season.
Yeah.
You can't have that great scene that I think everybody would love to see. These guys not only used to be the bromance, they used to go, drink it together.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Go to the sports bar.
The two of them actually should have bumped into Sir Knuckles while they were going to Flea Bottom, if you know what I mean. Bronn and Tyrion are like, let's just take a little trip here.
Okay, that's a great point. But I do think we need to get to Winterfell, where some incredible plot lines, I believe, are beginning to break out. Plus, there's one thing that just drives me a bit nuts that's happening in Winterfell. Let's start on Bran's vision quest. I loved it. As soon as I saw these crows, these ravens with their eyes getting milky white, I knew Bran was doing a little scouting. He's taking out the drones. He's going to find out where the Night King's army is. I loved this moment, but it also...
I did too, but I did feel kind of like a shortcut. I mean, like, was anybody surprised that he saw them and he saw them near Eastwatch?
No, but the big surprise for me was that Bran is what I would still want to call warging into these crows, into these animals, multiple animals. It used to just be one, Summer the direwolf or Hodor the door holder. Right.
Hodor, that animal, that dumb beast, Hodor.
Well, you know what? It was one thing.
It's like
now
a
he's
flock.
controlling multiple. But what I thought was kind of powerful about this moment is the Night King knows when he's being spied on. And he just says, kind of with a flick of the wrist, it's like, enough of this. And Bran is knocked out of all these ravens. Loved it. Loved it that the Night King has powers himself. Just as people are so worried that the dragons are too powerful, there's no way you can have a true fight there. Bran is not too powerful. The Night King, he's got his own play. He's got his own power. I like that moment a lot.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was pretty natural that that the Night King would know that any animals around them are not going to be naturally occurring. I think it's in the book that there's like...
Yeah, these things are alive. What's going on?
Yeah, in the prologue, I think it goes into how it's completely silent and there are no animals and stuff whenever there's danger of the White Walker variety in the vicinity.
It also could be, call me crazy, the show doesn't imply this at all, that, remember, Bran has the Night King's mark on him. Maybe when Bran is occupying all these crows, that's another way the Night King's like, why, it's those pesky kids. And then Bran, he snaps to, he goes to the maester, and he's like, we got to get the message out. I love this
I like how
part.
you said he goes to the maester. Bran's
the
not
maester
really
comes to
anywhere.
him, right?
Okay.
He rolls to the maester. That's how I roll. And he says, we got to roll. And so now I think the next place we got to go is, I think, possibly the juiciest storyline in Winterfell, but it's the one I felt slightly frustrated about. What do I mean? Arya is shadowing her sister Sansa, and then shadows Littlefinger. And what I thought to myself is, Arya's a great spy. She learned from all these people how to spy. But she could just say, Bran, what's up? If she would trust the vision, she'd say, Bran, what's up? She wouldn't have to do all this.
Well, she's really, and I can see your frustration, but it's understandable. I think as viewers, because we love all the characters, I mean, underneath our love for Joffrey, we love some of these characters. And so we wanted things to be different when the Starks all got back together. Okay? Because we were so happy to see them together, we kind of assumed, yes, they'll be happy to see each other, but they've taken different paths, and that's sort of, instead of time erasing the differences, in some ways it's magnified the differences between them.
Yes.
So Arya is still not as trusting of Sansa, and is even less because she's like, you like fancy stuff. You don't like to kill people. You only wear your face. Boring.
Well, Arya, I think this shows she's still a lone wolf. Here I'm saying she could go to the pack. She could go to Bran. He could tell her everything she'd want to know. But that's not her style, baby. She is the lone wolf. And I think, while I have a hard time believing that Littlefinger could get the true, final win in this, she is falling right into his plans. She's trained from a lot of people, but unlike Sansa, she is not trained under Littlefinger.
Yeah, that may be one case in which Sansa is wiser than Arya to the ways of Littlefinger.
Okay. All right.
And rapers.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Let's all leave that silent for a minute so we can really think about how terrible that memory is. So the first thing is she comes in, and these guys are still grumbling. They're still saying the King of the North should be in the North. I'm going to assume they're finding out that, hey, he went down south, and now he's still not coming back here. He's going north of the wall.
Oh, that makes more sense. I was wondering why is this just cut from the first episode of the season? It was the same dialogue and the same characters, and I was like, is this just a different angle of the same shot?
Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that too, because I thought, geez, okay, all right. They're still grumbling that he's still not there, every day. Where's the King of the North? The North is here. Where is he?
Do you ever go into work and ever think, man, boss isn't here, man. Where's my boss? He's not here.
I
He's
walk
supposed
around
to be
to everybody
here.
and I say, boss, where's boss? HR, where's boss?
Apparently, that's what they do at Winterfell.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Bubba, you pulled it all together.
All
they
right.
heard. Well, you know why? Because I think at this point I didn't realize that he was going to go straight there.
True. Okay.
When he showed up at Eastwatch, I thought, for some reason, I thought he was going to go back home and say,
gather up
hey,
some men.
this is what I'm doing, right? He doesn't. So that's why I didn't get it at that point.
Yeah.
So I can be excused for that. There's no excuse for Kelly, though.
That's true. I wasn't paying attention.
Man, I love the moment where Sansa and Arya across the Great Hall here in Winterfell make eye contact. And they were so happy just a week ago, and it's already on. It is already on. Sansa has a great line. She's like, I'm supposed to sit here and wait for him like Ghost. Oh, snap like a dog, a.k.a. a direwolf. Just sit here until the king gets back. And I believe that's a fair gripe for her to have. But then when Arya says, wait, you're sleeping in mom and dad's bed? Fancy pants. You at your fancy pants school, which Braun was talking about a while ago.
Let me ask you a quick question
cold.
then.
Yeah.
In this argument, whose side are you on? Are you on Sansa's side? Hey, I can't push these guys. They helped us. Or are you on Arya's side? You got to defend him all the way. That's what you have to do. Kelly, whose side are you on in that? Because I thought it was kind of an even. I thought they both made good points.
Yeah, I leaned a little bit more towards Sansa's side. I think her experience led her to do exactly what she's doing. And if Arya sees something malicious in it, I feel like she might be showing a little bit of her distrust that she's gained from these experiences she's had with negative people around her. And she may not be entirely wrong, but I think she's assuming the worst from the start of Sansa. And instead of talking to her about it, she's coming at her about it, and that doesn't seem to be the right approach. It seems kind of strange.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about you, Bubba? Where do you come down on who has the best argument here?
I think that just like the arguments between Jon and Sansa in those first couple episodes this season, there's got to be a happy medium. I think I lean towards Sansa because Arya's first thought is violence. Hey, they're complaining. Well, they're not going to complain if they don't have a head. That's the exact thought process that led to many of her friends, family, and father losing their head. So I think you got to be careful about that. I also think that the classic, you like fancy stuff. That is really that's like that's the 99%, which I respect. But I don't think it's the right.
Well, hey,
I don't think it's the right time to do it. But I love that Arya theoretically. Remember how the waif and Jaqen would hit Arya when she's lying? You're lying. You're lying. Theoretically, I'm not sure we really saw it on the show, but theoretically, Arya has these same skills. She can tell when you're lying. So just like Bran, they should know everything. Enough is enough.
All right. Well, that's interesting. I just kind of want to find out where you were.
What about you?
Well, my opinion is there are many sides. Many sides.
Okay. Very topical. We'll burn past that.
Yes, thank you.
All right, and so then Arya's next thought is she knows not to trust Littlefinger. Way back in season 2, she saw Littlefinger working with Tywin Lannister. Now, admittedly, she was working for Tywin Lannister, but she saw Littlefinger and Tywin create the plan that would get the Tyrell army on their side, which would end up winning, the Battle of the Blackwater. And so Arya is like, I'm going to follow this SOB and see what he's up to. And I love this, but I actually didn't think she was hiding well enough. I wanted her to really...
No.
Put on a different face, for God's sake.
Part of the problem is, they say don't bullshit a bullshitter. You can't sneak around the ultimate sneak. I mean, no one... But, I mean, just like Littlefinger said a week ago, he'd already seen this. He sees everything. He plans out everything. He's never surprised. He thought, this is what I do now. Arya is sneaking after me. I already planned this out.
He saw both scenarios where he turned around and she was there, and he saw the scenario when he turned around and she wasn't there.
Yeah, he's seen it already.
Listen, Sansa, what you have to do. Imagine every breakfast possibility. You could have oatmeal. You could have fruit from the arbor. You could have honey roasted.
Skip ahead.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Littlefinger. I'm just talking about Littlefinger. So she sees Littlefinger talking to what we assume is a servant girl, getting information from her. We see Littlefinger talking
to the grumbly guys.
Right, Lord Glover from the north and Lord from the Vale.
Lord Vale.
No. I keep calling him Randall. Lord Royce from the Vale.
Waymore, right. Sorry, yeah. Nailed it. First try.
Jan Royce from the Vale.
That's right.
Then she follows Littlefinger back to his chamber, which has its own lock on it. If you run the hotel, you should have you shouldn't have to break in. You have a key to every room.
Right, master key, let's do this.
But apparently he went to the current maester and said, "Find me this scroll." Very interesting, and it feels like this is totally Littlefinger knows what he's doing. He is setting the Arya Stark spy up.
Is that what you think he's doing? You think he's setting her up?
I totally think he's setting her up. And I think that look of him in the shadows where he's like, she fell for the bait, I loved it.
Oh, well, that is smart. And like you said, he is able to manipulate her in a way he's no longer able to manipulate Sansa. Now, I will say one thing. I've always said that I thought Daenerys and Jon Snow would get together.
Right.
But if we want to talk about people who are just ruthless and would make a good couple, would be Daenerys and Arya.
Now, that's a pairing I hadn't thought about.
Yeah. By the way, if necessary, she can wear Sir Friendzone's face.
Okay, so...
Who would that please?
But Daenerys?
I don't think so.
Wait, after he disappears that last time, I'm telling you, next time he shows up, she's going to be, you, me, cave, now.
All right, so do you guys comprehend, and I'm not 100% sure, what note this is that Littlefinger planted for Arya to find? Do you realize what note this is? And I'm going to go ahead and give a Gus. Give a Gus. Hey, bro, it's me, Gus. That's a shout-out to our fans who watch The Strain and listen to our Got Your Milk, The Strain podcast.
Thanks, bro.
Very good. This note is the note Cersei made Sansa send back in Season 1. Season 1, Cersei made Sansa send a letter to Robb to say, hey, come south, bend the knee to Joffrey, or else your father's going to die. Cersei made Sansa send this note. Littlefinger literally plants this so that Arya will find it and Arya will turn against her sister. This guy is so evil, so manipulative.
He's your new favorite.
He's great.
Tell the truth.
You respect him now, at least. Yeah. This is a deep pull.
This is a deep pull. This is as deep a pull as a dagger. What if you told friends to get into this and you said, you don't have to watch Season 1. Dragons are born. Ned Stark loses his head. Go. You wouldn't know any of this stuff. These are great deep pulls, and I think this is as terrible as it is. And once again, I have a hard time seeing Littlefinger winning at this. Just like Cersei,
he's going to cause trouble.
He is causing trouble.
And
baby.
this is. I'm happy that it's happening this way because I said earlier, I would be frustrated if he was able to manipulate Sansa directly. So the fact that he's using Arya now, I think that's super smart. Yeah,
when I'm struggling to figure out what a character is doing and they're outsmarting me, that's when I really start getting absorbed in a show or a scene. And this was one of those where I hadn't thought of that. And what I'm thinking now is I'm wondering, back backstory of Littlefinger? Do we know much about him and how much he might actually because I feel like what happened here is Arya didn't expect that anyone in Westeros or any kingly types would have any up on her. She's looking around at everybody and she says, like, you little plaything.
They're soft.
Yeah, they've gone soft.
Right.
But now that might be the wrong assumption she's making with Littlefinger here, because I think he's got ties to Braavos where she was.
That's the big thing is Littlefinger's family, the Baelishes, look at that tree. They came from Braavos. His grandfather did, and their house sigil is not actually the mockingbird that Littlefinger has on his pin. That's his own sigil he created for himself. But the symbol of House Baelish is the Titan of Braavos, that statue that you sail under to get into the city. So he might have learned from his family some wonderfully devious, sneaky stuff. And this look of him, when you're leaning up, when you can't lean up against your girl, like he would love to lean up against Sansa and kind of lean his head against hers. He can't do that. So he's in the shadows, leaning up a stone-cold wall, because he is stone-cold playing the Starks.
Every time I see him like this, I think he's just about ready to reach for his mustache wax so that he can twirl it.
Right.
Twirling and twirling.
Well, he'd also twirl the goatee.
Yeah. Goatee twirling.
A little bit of the bangs. He would twirl the bangs.
Yeah.
So
he's just one big curl by the time he's done.
Now I've got all these like crazy conspiracy theories about either that or someone has a Littlefinger face. Someone from Braavos has a Littlefinger face.
Yeah, he has a bunch. That'd be great. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, that would be good.
That would also explain how he got all over Westeros in the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
Okay, now, let's consider this now.
All right, sure.
What if it's not Arya following Littlefinger, but Littlefinger following Arya?
It's a double-blind bluff.
Like I said, when you get to the point where people can be wearing other people's faces and people who are dead can come back to life, things can get really confusing.
I love it, though. But I want you guys, does anybody here actually think Littlefinger can win this fight? Or is this just going to lead to his inevitable downfall? Can he win this fight?
Oh, I don't think he can win this fight, but I think that somebody else might lose before he does. In other words,
that's a smart way to
he's
say
not going to bring them all down, but Arya, this might cause Arya to leave Winterfell. She could get into it with Sansa, and then boom, she's out. So momentarily, she loses. But I mean, eventually, Littlefinger's going to go down.
I see it. How about you,
Just
Kelly?
like his,
can Littlefinger actually win with this separate the sisters tactic?
The writers could do whatever they wanted with him. I would believe it if he stole away in the middle of the night with Sansa and took her back to King's Landing. We're back in season 1 with the hostage situation. But at this point, for the story-wise, with how close we are to the end, I'd be super frustrated if something like that happened. I want progress, not regress. There would have to be something big and meaningful that would happen before he falls. Because he's like a season 1, episode 1, not episode 1, but he's like a season 1 character, and he's been a high player in the games. So he has to have some sort of impact before he just kind of pitters out.
But this is nice because I thought all he can do is stand around and shake his head. And in this episode, he regained the upper hand. It was like Cersei a few episodes ago, where all of a sudden, boom, like she looked like in a horrible position, and now she had the upper hand.
Yeah, the audience kind of lost, I think, a lot of faith in Littlefinger after he married Sansa to Ramsay. Yeah, because what she said to him is either you're stupid or you're my enemy, and either way, revealing that you're the enemy is stupid. So I think he had kind of lost a lot of clever points, and after this episode, I think he's gained some back.
All right, so let's go down to Old Town. Great place. College days. Those were the best days of all.
Gosh, I remember changing all my teachers' bedpans.
Oh, man. Yeah, I know.
It was so good. Carrying those books around.
Oh, man.
He needs one of those
corpses.
Yeah, he needs one of those rolling suitcases. They have rolling suitcases. They just came to Old Town.
Right.
I know he'll look like a nerd, but it's going to be great for his back.
So it feels like we're meeting what I would always call the small council / the only council of Citadel leaders. They've received the message that Bran had his raven send, and they debate it, but it doesn't feel very deeply. Like, well, it could be this, could be that. Well, they're showing the same ideology that we'd heard earlier from them, which is, wars come and go, things come and go. If we haven't seen it, it doesn't exist.
because we have the knowledge of everything. So they're just skeptical of anything they've never been threatened by or seen before.
Right, but the way this ends, it's a bit almost ridiculous. Maester Walken, who is the guy there in Winterfell who Bran sent the Raven note via, they're like, you know what? He sent us this note that these things are happening. Let's write to him again and say, really? He's going to send it again?
No, I think they're going to say, are you drunk?
Right. But the guy sent a Raven all the way from Winterfell all the way down to Old Town. I mean, yes, Uncle Euron could build 1,000 ships in those times, but that's a long way, and you're going to debate it. Sam...
I think they were skeptical of the truth of it, and if they could get more details that they could maybe relate to other truths that they know that are for sure from other maesters or something, like they're going to verify with other maesters nearby.
Oh, that's okay. I like that.
For them, White Walker, that's like that word. It's a trigger word, so they have to be very careful about it. There at the Maestorium.
I was not a big fan of the scene. Were you guys enthralled by the old men around a table?
Well, it's funny that they seem to sort of take it seriously. It doesn't seem to be, what's the point? I mean, he's leaving the next day anyway, or the next couple days, so why not just keep up the bluster and have it be a shorter scene? I don't know.
It had to be the impetus to force him out. He's like, no longer, no more.
Yeah. He can't take it anymore.
Well, what
it's his excuse for stealing everything.
Well, wait a minute. What about this? Is... You know, he's very impassioned. It's an impassioned student. Teachers should love impassioned students. And if they're like, you got to chill, maybe they could have said, you know, your dad and bro are dead, dude. Maybe that could have chilled him out. But they like Sam enough not to give him... They're doing your cat is on the roof. They're doing that classic story. They don't want to come out and say your cat's dead. They're doing, your cat's on the roof. Oh, now your cat's on the edge of the roof. Okay, your cat's dead. Instead of just telling him about his dad. So, you know, I don't know. There is some warmth from these maesters. I kind of...
Yeah, they're not the worst, but they're just not interesting. And I was really disappointed. I had always hoped that at the Citadel, with all of these learned men, that you would have all of these books, and that you would at least have some debate or interest or dialogue that wasn't just, well, it could be, well, let's find out more before we decide. Like, that was really all it was, and it was very disappointing that. And then after that, we see that Sam leaves. I feel like that's all we're going to get from the Citadel.
Hold on. You say that. All right, I want to hear your thoughts on this, Catfish.
Well, I mean, my point is, you know, his father was really mean to him.
Right.
And so he stole the sword. Mm-hmm. And then these guys were not great to him.
Right.
But not horrible. And he stole a bunch of stuff. Next time, someone's going to be like, come on in. I'd love to make you dinner. And then he's just going to steal everything from the house and move on. I mean, like, his excuses now are getting weaker and weaker.
The bar is lowering.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I
you didn't salute me. I'm stealing all your shit.
Well, I was going to say, I think Gilly and Baby Sam were like a gateway drug to thievery. He's like, I stole them, got away with it. Well, let's see what I can do. Oh, a priceless Valyrian sword.
Wait, no, we have to talk about that moment, which was such a tease, because you thought, oh, this is going to be the worst way to get this information, and they just throw it away by letting Baby Sam go ahead and eat those pages that have this important information. So why don't you go ahead and tell how frustrated you were by that possible release of information?
All right, so Sam's at home, and nobody likes the nagging wife trope. And he's at home, he's had a hard day at work, and all Gilly wants to do is give him Jeopardy questions. How many steps are there? Here, how many windows we got? And she's fascinated by it. I love Gilly. I don't know how everybody else feels about her. But he is just so frustrated. He's brought his work home with him because he's frustrated and he's grobble. And so this scene was very, very tough for me as a starting point, because I thought, Sam, this is the love of your life. Yes, you know, love ebbs and flows, but listen to your wife when she's speaking to you.
He feels like this is it. This is just like Kelly was saying. This is the repository for all information. All wise people in the world should be here. And he's basically telling them the world's about to end, and they're like, change my bedpan. So he's just frustrated. He feels like he's the only one who cares. And all he's got is a sword, all the books he can steal, all the food he can steal, and the best horse.
And a beautiful wife and a baby. Yeah, that's all he has.
True. Somebody...
A roof, food, and that's all.
Right,
This
is middle-class ennui. Unhappy with their setting. All right, so I want to read this verbatim because this was the story shortcut that was really going to blow me away. So Sam explains that annulment is when a man lawfully sets his wife away lawfully. And then, sure enough, Gilly trusting what she read on TMZ. She's saying that this Maester Maynard, according to him, the High Septon Maynard, so this is religious, excellent, who recorded all these things, he recorded an annulment between a Prince Rhaegar, I believe she's talking about, a.k.a. Prince Rhaegar Targaryen,
right,
setting aside his wife from Dorne. And so he issued an annulment for a Prince Rhaegar. Let's get to the next. And he remarried him to someone else at the same time in a secret ceremony in Dorne. This is the biggest thing, meaning who is no longer a bastard. He was a product of a married couple. He is the princess that was promised, Jon Snow. And to sneak it in like this, it drove me crazy. I'm sorry. It drove me crazy. It lost one whole point in my ranking just based on this.
Did it drive you crazier because the only person who knows this is Gilly and Baby Sam?
Baby Sam's first words. Baby Sam's first words. You're legitimate, Jon Snow.
Oh, no.
Uncle Jon is legitimate.
But would you have been more upset? You would have been more upset, though, if Sam somehow...
If Sam had put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, but
maybe,
that's almost like... That's almost putting like the square root of 5 and the square root of 672 together. I mean, that's a long road to go, isn't it? For Sam? Or do you think for Sam it wouldn't be that hard?
No, that is an incredible... There's no way Sam could put 2 and 2 together. Kelly, you've read all these books. You've loved all these books. You've been on many wonderful Podcast Winterfells talking about the chapters and everything. How do you feel to learn it like this? In a way, George Martin wanted to reveal this in a book, that Jon Snow isn't technically a bastard. How did you feel?
This was a perfect example of a story shortcut, I think, in this episode. It was so glossed over, which was probably intentional, but it still felt like it's too important for it to be left like that. And I know I was shaking my fists the entire time that Sam was venting because he totally missed what Gilly just said. And I thought, did he really just miss it? Did he not catch that? And he's ignoring her. And
just like a man.
Yeah, totally no, like this guy, like a man in Westeros. But no, he was just pretty. It was underwhelming, and I think actually everything at the Citadel is what made me drop 2 points off of the show. I think everything else was perfect.
Are you glad that Sam's hitting the road? Are you glad that Sam's hitting the road?
Yeah, I mean. This whole storyline has been like a double S.
Double S.
Yeah, supersized Sam storyline. Triple S.
Double S.
I mean, before the season, I thought we'd see Sam maybe 3 times, but he's vital to this. You get the dragon glass, and now he's got a bunch of books. When he gets up to Winterfell, all the chamber pots will be cleaned.
That's how he's going to pay for his trip.
I mean, basically, in these 5 episodes, he's learned everything he needs to learn from the Citadel.
Did you think that he caught that from her, or do you think he ignored?
No, he didn't catch it.
Yeah.
He's too frustrated in his own scenario. To me, it also makes me...
I'm not even sure if he... Unless they've mentioned... I mean, if they've mentioned Stark, if they'd actually had her name in it, and not just Rhaegar, maybe he would have put it together.
Yeah,
but even then, that's history that... I don't know whether he would associate that with Jon.
Ooh, well, what if Gilly packed that book too?
Yeah, that's what I would definitely assume that book is in that wagon.
I'm like 95% sure I saw Little Sam eat that page. At some point, Little Sam's going to be 7. He's going to be sitting under the tree with Bran, and his eyes are going to go, and he's just going to tell that story.
Well, you know what? Some people, I honestly forget who I heard pitch this theory. But what's going to happen is Gilly, Sam, and Baby Sam are going to get up to Winterfell. The Night King is going to be charging. He's going to be charging. Kill them all. He's going to see Baby Sam and go, brother? my bro. It's all good.
Oh, so baby. So I like it. All of this means nothing. It's
all about
Sam.
family.
It's all about baby Sam.
House Craster is going to be like.
But if you go back to the beginning, they laid that theme all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at the clues, everybody.
Fast and the Furious. Here we are again.
And the last question about the Citadel scene is: do you think that book was one of the ones that the Archmaester was having Sam rewrite? It seems like it might be too new.
It would have been too new. You would think to be under lock and key. That's a great point. That's a great
infested. Like if it had been like infested by a book near it or something and needed to be rewritten, or even if he threw it in with the set and said rewrite this and find this information out and do something about it.
Okay, so now that we're here and it's been busted out, this is again we talk about this a lot. This is essentially Chekhov's gun. Is this information going to come out through this book at some point in this series? Do you think so?
I think so.
Kelly, it helps to talk during a podcast. I do like
her head.
I do like it. You're nodding your head. I like it.
I was waiting for you to finish. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can just talk over me anytime. I'm always.
Amen to that. 7 blessings. To
okay,
that,
so
yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think that the book is exactly Chekhov's gun.
Okay.
It's become so common to say that now. But yeah, I think that's definitely what it's representing at this point. It's the only link to anything about Jon's past, and then maybe link him to Dany in a different way than they're expecting right now.
Right, unless Bran spent some more time and actually watched the ceremony. He's like, that's a beautiful ceremony.
Oh, no.
Not boring. Fast forward. Well, Catfish, I think what you're saying is there's so many ways this puzzle can be completed.
It's true.
Bran can just see everything and drop some knowledge. There's always the talk, at least book fans for the longest time said Howland Reed was there at the Tower of Joy, the one who saved Ned Stark's life before he ran in and found his sister and baby Jon Snow there. He's still out there. Mira went to see him. Now we have this book. It almost feels like, why don't people like Varys know this? There's almost too much knowledge out there.
Well, I have a kind of a quick question. I mean, people slam bastards because it's a royal person and a common person.
Right.
Does it even matter that they were married? I mean, these are two royal people that are the parents of Jon Snow. Does it really matter? He's half Stark.
I think it would. I think it would. There, in the books at least, there are quote unquote royal bastards, and this gets into book stuff like about Blackfires, where it does matter. You got to be legitimate. You got to be in a marriage, as opposed to even if it's a noble house. If you're not the wife, if you're not the husband, then there is that stigma.
I think what Catfish is saying is that there's already King Snow. Like, he is already a king right now. And so for him to be a ruler, like, there are some people that it clearly doesn't matter to. So would him being a bastard it matter in the long run?
I guess what I'm saying is, does it that the fact that he's half Rhaegar and half Stark, that's the most important thing to me. And what I was wondering was, does it really matter whether they were actually married?
It would.
To some people. Some people.
To people who believe in the royal rule of succession,
right.
yeah.
So then what that means is we've got an added piece here now.
Yeah.
Is that presumably at some point they'll find out the first information, and then they'll find out the second information.
Do you think that'll happen this season? We only got 2 more episodes. They're kind of supersized episodes, but
they're going so fast.
Think so.
I don't know. They might. They're going fast.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think that matters for this year, for this season.
Okay.
There's only 2 episodes left, and John's going to be focused on, getting the White Walker, down to King's Landing. And in fact, I mean, once they find out that they already assume he's half Stark, I think people are going to be more confused, less trusting of him when they find out he's half Targaryen. I mean, the whole reason why Ned Stark, you give me a hard time for not remembering everything, which is true. But I do remember. So then here's one thing I remember was that the reason why Ned Stark took him as a bastard because at that time all Targaryens were being killed.
Oh yeah.
So Jon Snow would have been killed. So he gave up his reputation to save the child that was his nephew.
But mostly by Robert was leading that charge.
Right, his bro.
Yeah. Robert was leading the charge against killing all Targaryens and the succession. So now that that's gone, it might be less of a stigma, perhaps.
It could be. I mean, people still wax poetic and not in a good way about the Mad King.
Yeah,
and now Daenerys is reviving the barbecue tradition.
And I want to get to that if that's okay. Let's get through all the other storylines because they're so tied together. Daenerys having her vision and her leadership style questioned by many of her people.
And me.
And Catfish. And it starts off with Tyrion, who we didn't really talk about it enough last episode. He wants to win. Everybody wants to win. But to see some of these people who are fighting for him in the Blackwater get slaughtered like this isn't a happy time.
But war's war. I mean, whether they have bodies left or not, I mean, he's been in the midst of war before. So
that's easy to say. These are bros. These are people who protected him in the past, and now he's killing them. I don't think it's that easy. And these soldiers, the few remaining, all covered in ash, come up to meet the New World Order, Daenerys.
And this is a huge turnaround from what we've heard to say to other people. Basically, when she's taken over a new place, she says, fight with me or go your own way. This is the first time she's like, fight with me or be crispy.
Well, hold on. Way back in Yunkai, which is the second of the slave cities, she kind of said, release all your slaves or I'll kill you all. I don't remember if how hard she said,
but those were the people in charge.
Okay.
These are foot soldiers. I'm saying
I like that.
I'm saying the regular soldiers, the first time she's given them, I don't want to say a choice.
Well, she gave them a choice. I thought it was I love the fact that so many didn't immediately bend the knee. Even though they are there is a freaking dragon right above them roaring. Many didn't bend the knee. And call me crazy, I respected it. I wouldn't have liked the end result, but I did respect it.
I agree. And now the funny thing is, it's almost like, when you stand up to applaud at the end of a play, and when the people in front of you stand up, then you feel like you have to stand up. No one is standing in front of Tarly's, but people behind them are standing because they're like, they're going to get the blast first. They're like fake strong, the people behind the Tarlys.
Yeah, and if most of them go down eventually.
They do. As soon as the Tarlys leave, they're like, okay, all right.
They could not find the ground fast enough. Oh,
right.
man.
As soon as they found themselves solely in the blast zone.
I think Sam's father, we've never really liked him.
No.
But
except for that great tour he gave.
Right, the great tour he gave us. But I still don't like him here. This is what in the hell is going on. You have flip side. Tyrion's calling your number, Tarly. You flip side, flip. But suddenly it's a foreign invader. Suddenly, now this is the thing that you won't, trade your word on, backstab somebody on. But on the flip side, Dickon being a stand-up Dickon. I really liked that. I liked him saying, Dad, I won't let you go out all by yourself. Let's ruin our house together.
I wanted Daenerys to say, wait, his name is Dickon? We're bringing him everywhere. I got to introduce him to everybody.
Oh, poor.
Yeah, this is Dickon. I want him to wear a sign around his neck that says, yes, with a D.
Oh, man. Did you guys know that she was gonna roast him? I thought she might behead him. She did that in Marine to one of the...
That was her order, was to have them be killed.
But to roast them, this was brutal. And I keep going back and forth. I used to complain about Arya. You'd see Arya slaughter all these people, and you think, ooh, is Arya going bad? But then Arya wouldn't kill the actress in Bravos, and it's like, oh, no, Arya's good. Daenerys, I'm getting that a bit from her. Her roasting them like this, that is mad Targaryen syndrome.
And that is what I was talking about.
Yeah, you were talking about it.
That's what I was talking about
right.
Earlier in the previous episode and earlier in this podcast, that she seems to have taken a new tack. All it takes is her to really lose one war, and all of a sudden, she's all about fire. It's not about justice anymore. It's not about breaking the chains. It's about roasting the fools.
I don't know. It seemed like she did give them an option, and like she said, like if she gave them the third option of go in a cell, that's not realistic to scale up, I guess, in terms of everyone's just going to take a cell. Nobody's going to want to fight for or join, kneel for her. And nobody's going to choose to die, and then they're just going to have full cells, and that's not very useful.
Right, but and
well, now
what Bubba was talking about is that there's a way that they do things on Westeros, and the way you do things on that Westeros is you cut off people's heads. It may not be nice, but that's the way things are done. And so instead of doing things the Westeros way, she's doing things the way the foreigners do it, and that is she's roasting them. So she is bringing different tactics.
Maybe. I don't know if I would say that the Targaryens, we don't know what their execution method was. We know Aerys did, but that's not a great scale to judge by. So maybe the Targaryens did have,
we definitely have different opinions because I think they're showing, and part of it I think is clumsy because I do feel like they spent a long time treating her to be a strong leader, but also sort of a just leader. And in like 2.5 episodes, I feel like they're twisting her a different way. But you still don't feel like she's gone that way.
Yeah, I feel like the beheading them is a first man
No, I like that call.
tradition.
Yeah,
Okay.
Which was why we first saw it through Ned, and we respect it because he felt strongly about it and was consistent in it. But I think Dany doesn't necessarily have... her heritage isn't the same as the first men.
Right.
So maybe that's why it's different, and it doesn't seem to be different in a bad way to me.
Right, but I think... I mean, and Tyrion and Varys talk about it too, so it's not just me, but there's a sense of doing things the way things are done appear to be done in Westeros, so you're not seen as foreign.
In some ways, that's placating.
You just want people to die the assimilated way.
I'm just
Yes.
saying
Ridiculous.
there are some rulers who use the fear of foreigners to stoke up hate and fear unnecessarily.
So she's giving Cersei more ammo to use
That's
against
what
her.
I'm
Yes,
saying.
it may be
Yeah.
dangerous for her, but I also think it's true. It's honest. It's sincere for her to be. She doesn't want to come in and be more of the same. So there is a bit of she's going to be a female leader, and of course Cersei beat her to that. But she is trying to be different than what has come before, and
Right, but she still has to fight against her heritage of the Mad King.
that's true.
So,
Super true.
I mean-
it might have been wise for her to distance herself between his tactics.
Yeah, I mean, she talked about, not wanting to come off that way, and then, the first, it feels like there's a Targaryen switch that sadly Jon Snow does not have.
Hold on, I think he does. So I saw it as a Mad Queen touch, her roasting these people.
Okay.
And then I still thought she was Team Mad Queen when she flies Drogon right up in Jon Snow's grill, and she's like, get a load of this. You don't want to bend the knee? Let me show you what knee bending's all about. And then, because this is the one guy on the planet who has seen terrible ice zombies, he's seen scarier things like Ollie, and he's like, I'm not gonna bend the knee. And he instead pets her dragon. And
Was that a euphemism?
That is a euphemism. I'm going to pet her dragon.
All right, okay.
And he didn't wash his hands, though. This is HBO After Dark when he's going to pet the dragon with dirty hands here. I wasn't so sold on all the dragon effects, but I actually think when he touches it, it's pretty darn good, pretty realistic here.
Yeah.
And shows he's got, he may have taken a sword in the heart, but he's still got some balls. Good work, Jon Snow. And, of course, there's one person who's going to fall for this. Because this is a bit of a role reversal. A lot of times it's guys who go get the nice ride and then try to impress the girls with it.
Oh, right.
Here it's a girl with a nice ride saying, hey, you like my ride?
Oh, no.
Oh, no?
That is her child. That's not a ride. She wants to know that guy is appreciative of her baby.
That is a great point. Kelly, we need you every week for this type of insight. Hell, yes, that is exactly right.
She's like, can he be a baby daddy?
He cares about my kids. But this is when Daenerys, to me,
She does have to
after
correct
seeing
him.
This,
I mean, he's like, he makes nice, but then he calls him a beast. Mistake.
It's language. It's a language difference. People call them beasts, but
Oh, yeah.
Right,
she
right,
wants
right.
them. She wants him to think of them differently and overcome that.
But
stigma.
he makes a good move. It's so funny. He's like, that's not the word I was thinking. And then he says beast, and he's like, no, but beautiful also. I mean, beast
Right.
and horrific and frightening, but also, yes, beautiful. I meant beautiful, right? I said beautiful.
listen to
Definitely
me.
beautiful.
Listen to me. They're beautiful babies. Beautiful babies you've got there.
Like their mother.
And man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the park and use these lines. That's pretty
You
good
said
there.
so much more there, Kelly.
All right, so let's just get to it. Do you guys feel sexual tension between the queen in the narrow sea here in Dragonstone and the king
I
in the
felt
north?
it from every scene they've did. I felt maybe not the very first one, but every scene after that. Definitely in the cave, especially with Jon Snow's history with caves.
Right.
It could have just gone off. It could have gone nuts.
Well, do you think that's where he's trying to lead her to when they step away from the cliff? You know, he just always leads back there.
Can we just this way?
About that cave? I found more drawings in the cave.
Oh, wait a minute.
Whole new section.
Wait a minute. Daenerys says, Sir Davos said you took a knife in the heart. And Jon's like, through love. And
Now-
she that's the thing that interests her. Jon's heart.
We've talked about this before, though.
Okay, next subject. So then,
Good,
wait. Oh,
good.
no, what do you want to
So
say?
now that Kelly's here, who's bringing a fresh, new...
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Correct.
Kelly, now that they seem really interested, and there's so many crazy things going on in this world, why do you think they're hiding that Jon Snow is version 2.0, that he was dead?
I can't imagine it's anything besides the complex explanation that would have to come with it. They're already asking her to make the leap to believe that there are White Walkers and Grumpkins and Snarks that they have to worry about. So to make it simpler to swallow, they're not including this thing. I don't think the world necessarily, like the Westeros world, necessarily knows the details of how Dany was reborn, or at least unburned.
Okay,
So
right.
them not knowing
Because
the
she
details.
would be more likely
Exactly.
to believe that, but...
Would she, though? I don't know. I mean, she's seen so many miraculous things. He comes to her and say, hey, the White Walkers are real. And she's like, pshaw.
Well, no.
She did, the very first time.
Okay, yeah, but all we needed to do was show her some drawings he just made in a cave.
All right,
And she
okay.
bought it. Okay, so you think that's just he thinks it's just a bridge too far. Because I'd
Maybe
be
he
like,
doesn't even have an
I was
explanation for it.
dead, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to brag for our women. You know, look at this
right.
thing I did. You see this? Look at this scar here.
Chicks dig scars, but
There you go.
that's a new concept. I
Now-
think
now
maybe back
chicks-
then it's like
Except on Theon.
it
Hey.
shows a failure in leadership. I think also, so that does look bad on him. That
Oh, I like that. Right, I got stabbed by my own
Yeah.
men. Follow me.
That is also true. But see, I wanted him to use that as his reasoning when she said bend the knee. When he's like, you know what? Well, no, listen, I believe so strongly in these things that the first time when I grabbed the wildlings, I was killed. And now
Yeah.
I'm going to get attacked again by my people if I bend the knee to you. I'm willing to go very far, but I can't go that far.
I would say pointing out that every decision you make is hated. That's a good point there, Jon Snow.
Listen, she's still got Tyrion as the Pinky of the Queen after he's lost all war after war.
Wait, listen, we gotta. You know what?
Okay, sorry.
I think we've
Moving on.
I think we've had some tension between us as hosts, and there's one guy who kills all tension. It's Ser Jorah. And he bends the knee. Look at him. He knows what she wants. And this hug, let me tell you something. She is hugging him on. She is leading him on
Oh.
with this hug. This guy.
Okay, this is great.
you know
I need
he
the-
is-
I
you
need
know
the
he's in
feminine.
love
I
with
need-
you. You know he's in love with you. Instead of a big hug, she should just say, "What's up?" You know.
Oh, you wanted to play hard to get now?
No, I'm just saying that this, yes, she feels a very big warmth for the old man.
Yeah.
But
Down
I
below.
thought this, for the big Jorah, she doesn't feel it down below. I think you've got to, I don't know. I guess it's not on her. It's on Ser Jorah. She's told him enough. He should get the picture. Okay, so I will stop blaming Daenerys for possibly leading.
No,
on.
I know what you're saying. I can get what you're saying. There's a lot that it seems a little hypocritical in her, what she says and how she behaves around him. But I think that she knows that his heart's desire, and he was writing it in the letter to her, is that just to be
good
near
call.
her.
Good call.
Just to be near her is enough for him. And I think once that was clarified, and he can't stop the way he feels, and I think she respects that. But
All
she
right.
also he's not trying to make out with her. He's not trying to
He's not
rub
very
up on
smart.
her. What?
Oh wait, sorry.
Let's face it, though. when you put people in the show on the macho scale, the Darios are definitely up there. Okay?
Yeah.
above Ser Jorah.
No.
All right, so
They're more macho than Ser Jorah. You don't think
No.
so?
They're both way more feminine than Jorah. Jorah's so gruff.
oh man, I love it.
So you like the...
He's a bear.
Okay. Man. Okay, all right. So
Hold on.
now we're getting into your psychology.
Wait, enough is enough. Let's
He was
focus.
nicknamed Fabio Dario. I mean, he was pretty girly. And then the other one was all right, but he was still just very, very feminine in the face.
Okay, so speaking of feminine...
Speaking of
Jon
feminine,
Snow.
wait, no, Varys and Tyrion.
Mopey Moperson. Okay,
Listen,
sorry.
Varys
yes.
and Tyrion. Varys has come down to Tyrion's level,
Sitting.
He's still taller.
and he's even drinking wine.
And the crappy wine. He makes it clear, Tyrion, you will drink any kind of gutter snipe.
Right. Well, I don't see great vineyards there on Dragonstone, so I'm willing to let that go. Varys he's given a good pitch here. He's like, she doesn't trust me. You're the hand of the king. You've got to get her stop roasting royal lords. Stop roasting Tarleys.
Well,
So I have been
Yes.
successfully led down this path because I am convinced that, at least they're portraying her going to Mad
No,
Queen-ish.
I've never seen it, but okay, keep going.
You just agreed with me a few minutes ago, but that's okay.
No, I didn't.
So,
I said when she roasted him, yes, but then as soon as she saw Jon Snow, it's suddenly everything's groovy. And for the rest of the episode, I didn't see her as Mad Queen-ish.
Oh, okay. Well, no, she didn't she didn't permanently go into Mad Queen mode. I'm just
it's
saying.
hints at the threat.
Yeah. So, do you think that these two have they are right to be a little concerned about Daenerys's career path,
Yes, just
going from leader to chef?
Daenerys has got to learn to put people in prison and just leave them there until they cheer up. Time heals all wounds, not dragon wounds, but time heals all wounds. We get to the infamous table, the painted table here on Dragonstone, and Jon Snow, after it's been read by our boy Varys, he gets the message via Bran. It's at Eastwatch. I've got to go. Enough flirty flirt. It's time to get the effing way there. If you'll come with me, Daenerys, she says she can't because if she leaves, while the cat's away, Cersei plays. She's afraid if she goes north,
Right, but
Cersei's.
come on. But she's also playing with him. She's like, she likes when he pushes back. Unlike the Tarleys, when he says no, she thinks it's sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's not a. Unlike with the Tarleys, that was a fireable offense. Ba-boom!
Bing.
I just came up with that.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
can tell.
I wish you hadn't. All right, so
I liked it.
okay.
I did.
All right, so Tyrion's like, listen, what if they debate, if we tell Cersei, will she be cool? What if we prove it to her by showing one of this army of the dead?
Oh,
What do you think of this crazy plan?
Yeah, no. Point. I don't want to go first. This might have also just been as bad as the Citadel scene, but it has the on its side that it hasn't concluded yet. So we'll see how it goes. I'm so skeptical. It sounds ridiculous, like they're drawing out more time instead of the battles that we've gotten used to. So I'm just so confused as to the writing pacing it changing now.
right. Let me get this straight, okay? The White Walkers are all on the run. And they're on the run together.
Well, they're on a stroll.
They pretty much hang with the king.
No,
right?
you just want to find the one loner. Hey, dude.
Right. So they're going to grab the one guy who's apparently hundreds of miles before everybody else.
Right.
Take him all the way down to King's Landing and say,
Show him a
"See?
good time."
Look.
Right.
And then, you know what? The one thing I did think, though, maybe Qyburn could come up with a way to fix them. Qyburn's good with dead things.
He is.
So maybe he could make them permanently dead. But, yeah.
No,
this
it's like they
plan-
need to grab a female one, so Bride of Sir Gregor.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Busy.
Considering how urgent this seems to be to gather everybody for the White Walkers, this seems like a lot of time to just get Cersei off their back.
Well, they feel like they have to do it, and she does always go lower than you'll ever go. Maybe you can debate it that way. They have Sir Davos, as we know, a smuggler, get Tyrion into King's Landing. And this was another story shortcut that while I loved it, I just thought it went too quickly. Suddenly Sir Davos, hey, if Gendry's here, I should find him.
Right.
Well, you're going into danger. Hey, let me go find Gendry and drag him along. What was the thought process here?
Right,
we all love seeing Gendry, but...
Gendry's like, you were right. this is the safest place to be. And Sir Knuckles
Let's
says,
leave.
no, I was not. Upon second thought, but a great joke.
Yes.
A great joke at the beginning of that scene. It was worth it just for that joke.
I thought you'd still be rowing. Yeah. So good.
Well, he lost all his sons. I think maybe he thinks of Gendry as another son.
Love that point. Love this point. His son that he lost on the Blackwater, that he even referenced here. He didn't mention it the first time he saw Tyrion, and they mentioned the Battle of Blackwater.
Yeah. If Tyrion's gonna,
Right.
he sort of tops Tyrion there. That's so good. Geez, there was a horrible battle here. Yeah, I know. My son died. Thanks, bro.
Right. Well, Tyrion's also like, last time I was here, I killed my dad. And then Davos says, you also killed my son. And Tyrion should say, oh, I also killed Shay.
Yeah, trying to one-up
I chopped
everyone.
this one guy's leg off. Pretty good.
And my dad. I killed them all.
Are you excited to see Gendry? Let's go. Rapid response. Kelly, yay or nay?
Oh, hype is big. Hype is great. I want him to come back together with Arya.
Oh,
I'm
love
excited for
it.
that.
Love it. Catfish. Gendry, yay or nay? How you feel
I would have
seeing him
never
again?
imagined how excited I am for a character we haven't seen in years to be a major part of the story, but I am. Like, he's just like, boom, let's do this. My name is Gendry, y'all. I'll tell anyone.
I like it too, and I did love the joke of it. Of this, like, where are we going? He just accepts it. We don't have to have a long, drawn-out scene of him being convinced. It's like, I'm ready to go. And then for Easter egg for all book fans, King Robert, Usurper Robert, however you felt about him, he fought with a warhammer. What does Gendry fight with? A hammer. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. To King's Landing, gold cloaks, I'd hammer in the evening.
I was thinking more Gendry Baratheon.
Keep singing.
No,
Come on, I love it.
Come on, leaving
I
the
love
listeners
it.
hanging, Kelly.
How does it go? But here's the Maxwell Silverhammer is what.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bang, bang, Gendry's hammer came down upon her head. Do. Okay,
So good.
Thank you for finishing that.
Everybody, you need to retweet this. Follow Kelly on Twitter just so you can hear such insight as a deep Beatles cut when we get to Game of Thrones. And I loved seeing Gendry. These poor Gold Cloak City Watch guys. Really, they were just doing their job, and of course, by doing their job, they got totally faced.
Now what's great is that you'd say, okay, we don't have many episodes left. We don't have time to fool around. And this scene was completely not necessary.
So
but I
Right, they
loved
could have
it.
just snuck out. They could have just snuck out.
It didn't tell us anything. Okay, we got to see Gendry's good with the hammer. Well, we could have figured that out anyway. But I loved it. They do the little. First they do the joke about it's got more expensive to bribe, and then he's doing the whole try this bad fish, you'll pump
fermented
right
crab.
through your mail. I mean, there was some funny stuff here.
It was. I got a bit frustrated that Tyrion didn't bother to go in any sort of disguise. I'm just the
Right.
most wanted man. Let me walk down the stairs. La, 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 la.
I'm just a dwarf with a screwed up nose, y'all.
I'm hoping he took back ways, and I don't.
You would hope. That's true.
We do actually know from Arya's adventures that underground cavern does lead out to
great
somewhere around
point.
here.
Great
so he
point.
might not have had gone through the city at all.
However,
But-
once he gets out to the sunshine,
He sees
I'm
them
not
and
sure.
just
I'm
keeps
not sure strutting is the right mode.
Whistling, he sure did.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I heard whistling.
Yeah, he's singing his song. I'm a Lannister and I'm okay. I work all night and I sleep all day.
All right. So Davos is bringing
It's so musical this week.
Davos is bringing Gendry to the sex cave, or excuse me, the drawing cave. Not the sex cave is up north, and he's saying the one thing is, this show is complicated enough. Just don't tell him who you are.
I
Just
love
say
it. I
you're
love
just
this.
hanging with us. And Gendry, once again, he's going to do his own skip ahead. He's not going to do this at all. He's
was
like,
great.
hey, you met my dad. I met your dad. They were buds. Let's be buds. Buddy up, Jon Snow. You're a bastard. I'm a bastard. Let's do this.
This was an adorable scene of what I liked. I was thinking of calling the double Bs.
Double B's.
Bastard buddies.
Oh, yeah, of course.
yeah.
But we just learned that he's not a bastard, so it didn't
Oh,
work.
okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Jon Snow. Way to
I
ruin our...
would like to thank Gendry, though. I believe this is Jon Snow's first smile in 3.5 years.
Really, it might be.
And all you had to do was make a short joke. That's all it took. All it took to get him to smile.
Now we know the kind of humor he likes.
The script is getting really meta. I feel like there's
Right. The very first episode made fun of Thoros' Mirror's man bun. You know, like,
Yeah.
you're bald, but that's not it. You call that a man bun, you're just hiding your bald. Here, Jon Snow, you're short. Like, in a bit, it'll be, Tyrion, your accent's terrible.
I thought you'd still be Rowan. Just all of these that
Right.
are super.
Your dire wolf never comes out. Jon Snow, what's going on there? Is it still alive?
Plus, what's a funny thing here is that I can tell you as a short person, because at least the way this scene is set up, that Jon Snow is actually taller than Gendry. At least the way this scene is shot. So as a short person, I never say to someone taller than me, you're short.
I think he might not be.
It's the framing of the scene, but
Yeah. Okay.
that's the only thing.
And he wears heels. We've seen him from far away shots.
yeah.
I'm telling you,
Oh,
Jon
yeah.
Snow...
He's got boosters.
The actor who played Jon Snow spent a lot of time on apple boxes shooting this show. I guarantee it.
Yeah, I know. Why do you think he liked staying atop the wall? It's like, hey, guys, look at me. I don't have short man syndrome.
I'm taller than you.
Everyone.
All right, so the team decides to take off. We have a nice moment. This is another one in a longer season. I think they would let breathe. Kelly, you were talking about where was our Tyrion Bronn scene. This Tyrion Jorah scene, it's nice, but it is short.
Yeah.
Because in a very brief time, really just season 5, they did bond, and that was a warm moment. But Tyrion in certain things, I think, are really given the old, I'm about to retire type of stuff to Sir Jorah. You know, here, take this coin, hold on to it, bring it back to me. Jorah's last look at his love, Daenerys. I'm worried about him. Going forward. I hate to say it.
I think we'll see him in a few more episodes. I don't think he's going to see Daenerys again. That's going to be my call.
No, I think he's going to save Jon and see something. He sees something between Dany and Jon, and I think on their journey, although there really hasn't, they're already there, so I don't know when on their journey. But I do think he'll do something.
Remember, they got to ride all that way, so that's going to take about 15 minutes.
All the way back, right? Yeah.
Jorah went for the hand kiss. I think that's a smart move there, Sir Jorah.
Yeah, I think it shows that he's grown.
I was surprised there wasn't a little bit more of the romance here in this last bit between Jon and Daenerys. I feel like they've got her looking at him a little bit lovingly, but I feel like he's not giving a little bit.
I think it's kind of more genuine that way because I feel like he just learned that his brother and sister that he thought were dead are still alive.
Oh,
and
good
he's
point.
on
We
a
kind of
mission.
burned past that. Now, he should have known Bran was still alive. Well, I guess he knew Bran went north of the wall.
Yeah.
He didn't know he was alive. That's a good point. So,
He's kind of focused, and sometimes guys get single-minded. I don't know if you
but what they're
are aware
usually
of that in
single-minded on
yeah, King Joffrey.
is,
Yes.
is- what they're usually single-minded about is, oh, look at this hot Daenerys in front of me. That's what's on his mind. And look, Tyrion's behind him like, you're blowing it, bro.
Well, hold on. How about this? You didn't think that was a bit of a romantic line? If I don't come back, you won't have to deal with that pain in the King of the North anymore. That's a good line.
He was setting her
That's
up
a
to,
good line.
say something back that she did play into and say that she's grown used to him.
I've grown used to your smile.
You know who hasn't grown? Tyrion.
Wait a minute. Jon Snow likes the short jokes. Tyrion, not so much. So we follow our team to Eastwatch by the sea.
Which instantly.
They just took them probably a month and a half or so, or one Arya scene and one Samwell scene.
And I don't know why I was surprised, but I was surprised. I'm like, shouldn't they go home first and check in? Like, if I'm the king, I don't want to be away from home too long.
No. They knew the
Unless I have this crazy plan, we got to pick.
It's
one
on the
from
way,
herd.
I think.
Right. They know the
right?
episode is titled Eastwatch, so they're like, we got to.
No, if they went by boat, they
Right. Well, they could go to White Harbor. This
Yeah,
is
that's
really
true.
nerdy map stuff, but
I love this stuff.
isn't it good to see Tormund again? And Tormund, he's trying. He's like the audience. He's a bit confused. He's like, "Give me the previously on. Is it the princess? Is it the queen with dragons, or the one who fucks her brother?" I love that line. So good.
Oh, and then the other line that I love is he's like, "Where's Brienne?" He
Right.
doesn't say Brienne.
Yeah, he's like, where's the big
woman.
people? Where are the fighters?
Where's the big woman? And there goes Jon Snow, another laugh. Tormund, he's not laughing. He's like, bring my baby Brienne.
Jon Snow kind of like insult humor. He insult humor. That brings out Jon Snow's stuff. And Davos, this is the tactic I'm going to take when we're in our war with Korea or Venezuela or whomever. Davos is like, well, I don't fight very well. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, he knows his strengths and weaknesses, and he's upfront about them. But wasn't he out there with them? So I don't know what the point of all that was.
He fought in Battle of the Bastards, but in this war, he's like, no, can't do. You guys go. In the books, I'm at Skago, so I'm just going to hang here.
I guess he's just hedging. Don't expect much, but I'll try.
You really think he's not going to go? He's just going to hang out at Eastwatch by himself?
He doesn't go.
He doesn't?
We don't see him.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll get to that in a sec. First, we have to bring in everybody else who's here
Right.
in Eastwatch by the Sea. Some characters
It's so
we
amazing
love.
that so much has gone on in this show. When people get back together, they have to remind the audience why they hate each other. They're like, it's a catalog of insults you have done me.
All right, well, let's
every
see.
time people meet.
Let's see if we can list them all. So Jon Snow saw the Hound. He doesn't hate the Hound, maybe, but he saw him in the first episode. Gendry, he's like, in season 3, these two jerks sold me to a red witch. Here's one that you have to be a book reader or really have paid attention to know. Ser Jorah and Thoros of Myr fought in the Greyjoy Rebellion 9 years before the series began, and they're like, hey, we know each other. Hey, everybody knows each other.
And he says Mormont's name, which triggers...
Tormund to say, wait a minute, you're a Mormont? I hate you. Well, you hated my father? I hate you.
It's so good. It's
Right.
just a round robin.
Well, the only one who, Davos is like, anybody hate me? I'm here too. Anybody?
Did anyone understand that line that Mormont came back with him though? Because he goes, I hear you returned the favor.
Yeah, so it was like, I think Tormund said, your father hunted us like animals. And I think Jorah's saying, yeah, you did the same. It's not the snappiest comeback, but Sir Friendzone, he's never been a wordsmith. So here, let's read it out loud. He's like saying, yes, Mormont hunted us like animals. You returned the favor. Yeah, that is a terrible...
It sounds singular, and it sounds like they're talking about it when he killed him.
Yeah. Listen,
Yeah,
he's
terrible.
He's not Sir Comeback. He's Sir Friendzone. Okay.
I know. I mean,
he
this
does
guy,
what he can.
This guy, he doesn't have an snap comeback. He doesn't have a your mama joke. Ser Jorah, he's had a rough life. He doesn't know anything. And then probably the character we know the least, Sir Beric. He's like, I'm here too, guys. And so let me just state the message of the Lord of Light. I love that even the Hound is like, oh dear God, religion. let's be agnostic, everybody. Let's all be together. Long story short, Jon Snow does the series mantra. We're all breathing. We're all human. We're all on the same side. Aww.
Except for Cersei.
It's cute.
No, hey.
No, she is breathing. She's human,
Oh, that's
but she's
good
not
point.
on their side.
Aww.
She is the outlier. She's an anomaly.
She is. She is.
is.
Anybody up in the north, you got two choices. You're breathing or you're not breathing. But either way, you're fighting.
Heck yeah.
There's no getting around it.
All
unless
right.
So we don't see Sir Knuckles here. He's back. He's just going to make soup.
Yeah, so let's get to it. This is the final bit we have to recap and review here. This is, you would say, a cliffhanger. It almost feels not even so much like a cliffhanger as a tease for next week. Next week, the S gets real. Jon Snow, Tormund, Jorah, Beric, Gendry, Thoros of Myr, the Hound, and what I'll call extras.
Fodder.
They're all heading out.
They're all wearing red shirts. You can tell. It's not going to be good for
red
them.
fur. This we've got to fight him. So I'm going to go terrible. Let's predict of our badass team, and you know what? Before we predict who's going to live and who's going to die, this is a pretty good badass team, don't you think? This is a good badass team. This, if you were going to fight, get into trouble, you'd want this crew with you. This is pretty good.
It's pretty good. I mean, they don't have a full set of... they only have partial facial features for some of them, so they're not... I wouldn't exactly call them all full men, but, maybe we could replace one or two of them with Brienne and we'd be better off.
All right.
I don't know. I feel like if we had Melisandre here, it'd be a little bit more well-rounded in terms of your healers to your melee ratio.
Oh, that's a good point, except she'd be using Gendry's blood to be healing everyone else.
No, she didn't need Gendry's blood to heal Jon, right? To bring him back. So
She did it, but she likes to fall back on the old plan.
yeah, that's true. She would try.
Listen, who knows if it'll work again.
Man, leeches be leeches. All right, so I want to go round robin. Who are you most afraid about for next week? I already mentioned it. Ser Jorah got the lucky coin of, hey, bring this coin back to me. He got the look at Daenerys. I'm worried about if Sir Friendzone is going to be for Sir Deadzone. That's my worry for this group. How about you, Catfish? Who are you most worried about this group going out?
It could be. Well, let me tell you who I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about Jon Snow.
Okay.
I'm not worried about Tormund, and I'm not worried about the Hound.
Oh, wow. That's bad news if you're Beric, Jorah, Thoros, or Gendry.
I mean, Thoros, Thoros and Beric, they haven't featured as much in the show as they do in the books.
Right.
And so I think they can be the kind of, like, not cannon fodder, but also not main characters to lose. People we can lose that we care about, but essentially don't know much about them.
All right, Kelly, who are you most worried about on this crew heading north?
I would definitely say Beric has an end in sight. We have not seen
Well, that is sadly a good call.
any
yeah.
reason why he's has all of this power, and I feel like if there's going to be a big scene up here, which it seems like they're building to, we're going to find out why he's been given these powers, and it's going to probably end in him dying and maybe passing on that reborn ability to someone. Like,
Oh, that is a great call.
And
what
all
if
of this-
it's the Hound, and then the Hound and the Mountain are both reborn kind of peeps?
yeah.
And all of this to grab one damn White Walker. Now,
I know.
They don't have a horse.
So-
They don't have a cage. How do you just like...
Did they bring food? That's what they
That was the extras. There's
the
more
extras,
coming.
right.
Extras have it all. Yeah,
I just want
Okay,
to know
good.
how they're bringing this damn White Walker back.
yeah. They don't have a great plan, so I don't understand. I don't know character wise what they're thinking, but I'm thinking one of them is going to die, and they're just going to bring because
Oh,
anybody.
wow, that would be...
That would be a great move. Listen, instead of causing all this trouble,
Yeah, like they get.
just kill him.
What if they brought Rickon with them?
Oh,
Rickon. Okay, listeners, 1 week from tonight, it doesn't even have a title yet.
It does. Episode 66.
It doesn't have a title yet. It's going to be on HBO. The first showing is an hour, 15 minutes. You know the White Walkers are going to hit the fan. We are excited about it. Listeners, we encourage you, talk to us on Twitter, but also go to our Facebook page and engage in the discussion there. We do this for one reason only. We love the sound of our own voices. No, I'm kidding. We do it because we love talking with you and hearing your great feedback. Kelly, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you let the listeners know how they can contact you on Twitter?
Please do. I'm Kelly Underfoot, and you can send me a tweet or a DM, and I'll get back to you. I like talking on there.
Excellent.
Thank you for having
Kelly,
me.
you were
guys.
so awesome.
This was
You were
awesome.
awesome. You were the best.
All right,
She
Catfish.
was better than me. I know I'm going to be replaced.
No. I'm
just going to call myself Beric.
Oh, no. Catfish, your next episode may be your last. How can people find you on Twitter?
They can hit me up at CJGman67.
And you can find me. My name is Bubba. You can find me on Twitter at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM. At Fit and Trim on Twitter. And we'll see you next time.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on a second, Bubba.
Oh, it's gotta be quick,
You have
Catfish.
forgotten
We're going
again.
long.
Okay,
We
all
gotta
right.
go quick.
So this is it. Every week to end the podcast
To
in
end it.
honor of Joffrey Baratheon,
Yep.
the first in your hearts and the first and everywhere, we nominate someone to be the Joffrey of the week who has shown some of the aspects of Joffrey.
Okay, so I'll go first.
You do it.
My Joffrey of the week, we're lucky enough to be here in Los Angeles, home of the Los Angeles Rams. Just like Joffrey, there is a golden-haired leader who did his best work from behind. Starting quarterback, number one pick, number one bust,
Also starts with a J. Is that right?
Jared Goff.
Oh, my goodness.
Just like Joffrey
God.
won the Battle
Joffrey
of the
God.
Blackwater when he was behind. If you watched the Rams' first preseason game, as soon as Jared Goff led from behind, a.k.a. got to the bench, and let the second string quarterback get out there, the team did much better. So for giving up his position on the field and going to a leadership position on the bench, Jared Goff, my Joffrey of the week. How about you, Catfish?
Well, I have to go with a fictional character. Many times we say that real people just are like Tyrion.
Yeah.
They don't measure up.
Oh.
So this week, I would like to compare Joffrey to a character that I saw in a movie on the big screen this week. That's right. Joffrey is being portrayed this week by Annabelle. Annabelle the doll. She is everywhere in this latest movie. You can't get away from her.
No.
She always has the upper hand. And in fact, when everyone dies, Annabelle seems like she's gone too. But we know that she lives on to crush more people's spirits and souls. My Joffrey of the week Annabelle the doll.
Should people see the new Annabelle movie, Catfish?
No.
Okay. Kelly, we haven't really warned you about this. Do you have a Joffrey of the week?
You know, I didn't prepare one, so I want to...
Neither did I. That's why I said
Neither
Annabelle.
did I. Yes, okay, sorry.
Well, then you guys are way better at preparing them on the spot than I am. I would like to crown everyone who's listening to this and stuck through it the Joffrey of the Week.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
We've never once honored our listeners.
I was going to tell you that. I was going to say this podcast is so long, no one might have been honored.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, we'll see you next week on
The Joffrey of Podcasts.
Yes.